Welcome back to another coffee break. Today I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about an interview that I heard about that really kind of hit me. I don't know if it will hit you the same way or not, but it hit me. So I was listening to an interview between Megyn Kelly and Piers Morgan. And Piers Morgan was talking about his show, which I never watched, but his show, and he was interviewing the actor Brian Cox. I'll put a picture up here of Brian Cox so you know who I'm talking about. He's an actor that I love, especially his role in Red and Red 2 and that kind of stuff. But I digress. And he said in that interview with Brian Cox, he asked him if he was ever asked to give advice to younger actors, and he said yes. And the advice that he gave was usually this: find a picture of yourself as a child where you were having fun and put that picture in your wallet and take it out and look at it every day. Now today that's take that picture out and look at it on your phone, but the same principle applies. And his point was this: when you were a child, you were very free to play. You were probably unencumbered by the world, and things just came more easily to jump into and try and experiment. And as we get older, those things start to disappear, and we should never forget they were there. So I want to show you this picture. This is one of my high school pictures. Not my graduation picture, probably my 11th grade picture. But I want you to notice the affect of this picture. There is no joy in this picture. And I tell this story, I've probably told, I may have told it already in this video series, I don't remember. But I was a very outgoing kid when I was younger. I had a lot of friends. We biked around the neighborhood. We climbed apple trees together. We got into fights. We did all the stuff. And it was a really great childhood. Had mom and dad both at home. They were both in love with each other. They were both in love with me. They took care of me and my brother. They worked 2 jobs when they had to make sure that we were moving up the chain as much as we could. But in the 7th grade, after I'd gone to an elementary school, kindergarten through 6th grade, and then my junior high school was about 3 blocks away. And so I started 7th grade. It was walkable, walked up to that school, still knew some people, although there were other elementary schools coming in. So I was in classes with people I didn't know much. But in the middle of the 7th grade, we moved. We moved over Christmas break. And we moved about 3 hours away. And we're talking the middle of winter in northern Indiana. And so there was about a foot of snow on the ground, and it was dark. And I had lived directly across the street from the elementary school and only 3 blocks away from the junior high school. And now I had to take a bus. And so my first day, my mom helped me get bundled up, big overcoat, boots to walk through the snow, cover the face, walking in the dark about what I remember to be about a quarter of a mile from our house at the dead end of the street down to the intersection where we picked up the bus. And I stood there. I was the only kid in that neighborhood who was getting picked up on that street. And so I stood there and I watched the bus come at the intersection just down the road, and I could hear these kids talking and carrying on, and I'm standing here by myself in the cold in the dark. And they all get on the bus. The bus comes down the road. I get ready to get on the bus, and the bus drives right past me. Doesn't stop. So I had to walk back home, get my mom to take me to school. The next day, walk back down to the corner, Stood there, watched the bus come down to the other corner, come down the road in the dark, in the snow, drove right past me, and left me standing there. And I'm thinking, well, I'm a new kid. Maybe they don't know I'm supposed to be riding the bus. It's dark. Maybe they didn't see me. We didn't have reflective gear on back in those days. We were lucky we didn't get killed. So the third day, I went back down and I stood there. And as the bus was coming down, I stepped up a little bit and started waving. And the bus stopped, opened its door, and I started to get on, and the bus driver put their hand up and said, "Stop right there." I said, "Okay." She said, "What school are you going to?" I told her. And she said, "This bus doesn't go to that school. Your bus comes 10 minutes from now." And so I got back off the bus and I waited. And sure enough, 10 minutes later, the bus showed up. I got on it and got to school. But I tell that story a lot to say that as an adult, from that point on, in my life, my personality changed. I became very withdrawn, very much a loner. I had a few friends, but I never made any friends on my street, even though we all went to school together. They didn't have any interest in me. We moved, and I went to one school for the second half of 7th grade. I went to another school, 8th grade. Then they opened a new school, and I went there for 9th grade. And then we moved to South Carolina. I went to that school for 10th grade. And then we moved to Arkansas, and I went 11th and 12th grade. So during all that time, I never really had time to connect and make friends. And as a result, that picture that I showed you is who I became. But I want to show you who I was. So this picture is a much different me. This picture is happy with life. This picture is happy-go-lucky. This picture is very happy to be alive and on the planet. Or if I showed you this picture was taken with a friend of mine who lived behind me. We dressed up every year for Halloween. My mom made my costume. His mom made his costume. I think that's how it went. And so he was Batman. I was Robin. And we're having a blast, an absolute blast. And then even sort of later on, I had glimpses, like in this picture, where we were going to a party for Halloween, and I made a papier-mâché mask to wear over my head so nobody would know who I was. And I seem to recall my mom made this outfit for me. Today, I don't do those things. Kids come to me, they ask me to participate in something for them, to have a little fun. I've had a lot of kids come and say, "Hey, would you be in our TikTok video?" Nope, not interested. Had a couple of teachers come and ask me to be in their TikTok video. No, that's not my thing, sorry. And I think somewhere along the line, I still have fun with my grandkids, and I had fun with my kids, and I still like to laugh and cut up and tell jokes and, be the sarcastic foil of an administrator's meeting. Those things I do, and I do quite well, if I must say. But what I don't do is wind up having fun with you or having fun with our kids. I become something different. And so I wanted to remind myself of who I was. Now, I'm 63 years old. It's a little late in life to do that, but I have put these 3 pictures of me on my phone, and they will stay on my phone until I die, because I want to remind myself of what life was like before it changed for me. Maybe some of you needed to hear that. I don't know. You didn't need to hear it about me, obviously, but maybe you needed to hear it for yourselves. Maybe it's time for us to think back. Before we were fighting with students about doing homework, or putting their phones away, or wearing a hat to class, or wearing something besides a black shirt, and all the little minutia of crap that we go through as teachers. We all need to take a step back and think about, what was I like before all that? And can I be at least some of that again? We'll see you next week.